And then Lily
and
comes,
everyone
and
runs away.
then Ten confronts Lily or something along those lines, or
Because she
something.
brings up Sophie and Millie, and
Right.
that's actually as a little cute little as a neat little throwaway piece there. She mentions that I think it was Sophie and Violet were a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Minnie, I
Minnie,
think.
Minnie and
Minnie,
Violet were a thing.
Minnie and
Sorry,
Violet.
Yeah.
and at that point I was like, okay, maybe it's a good thing I didn't pursue that relationship because otherwise we could have another love triangle on our hands, and that would be awkward if we found them in a later episode. But chapstick. Yeah, then that's when Lily and her team of people
Right.
show up.
People start shooting eventually, and then poor Mitch.
Oh no.
He was angry. He charged.
I Mitch's death I really bothered me because I did not, as terrible as Mitch was to Clementine, I did not want him dead, and I would have done everything to protect him, just like I would have done everything to protect everybody else. So it was, I thought that his death was such a shame because I wanted some redemption for his character.
Which he sort of got slightly.
Maybe in the 2 weeks.
You sort of got it. I would have wanted more
Yeah.
of a chance for him to get redeemed, and it was just, it felt like Ben kind of, because you sort of saw Ben redeeming himself as a character, and he really did make a lot of effort to redeem himself by the end, but I just feel like he didn't completely get the chance to. His life was cut off before he fully got to, but I could see that he was on the path towards it. So yeah, Mitch's death was very much like Ben's death to me in many ways. I
Wow,
miss
that
Ben
hurt.
too. I miss Ben too. I know.
And then Lily is trying to like keep them at bay. The bomb did go off. There's chaos everywhere. You shoot at them, and then I guess ultimately everybody retreats into the admin hall,
Or like what I call the Home Alone house.
the home alone house itself, and that's when you get to does. I wonder what happens like in execution and what the log trap actually accomplishes.
Yeah, I don't know what happens if you chose the log trap. I don't know what
Neither.
would have. I don't know.
I'll look into that later, but
Yeah.
I know you pulled the brick trap, and that demolishes a guy.
It helped.
Then you push a couch, and then so then you have this conflict. Then you have a confrontation where they're throwing Molotovs, and Abel breaks in.
Yeah, and you have this fight with Abel, and then you end up in. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's very much a Harry Potter Lord Voldemort scene where they fall off the balcony.
Yeah, they go, "Woo!"
I think there's a part in the last movie, without giving away too many spoilers, where that happens, and that's what I immediately thought Harry Potter and Voldemort for some reason when that
I can
happened.
see that. I see where you're going with that. Yeah. I don't know if this actually affects something, but at one point in that little confrontation towards the end, Rosie will come to your aid if you were nice to her and pet her. I think that's what the description said. Did Rosie come to your aid?
I don't remember. Everything happened so fast, so I honestly don't remember if she did.
Okay, I just remember. Yeah, Abel was trying to like grab at you, and then Rosie comes and bites at his arm. And later, when you're looking at
yeah,
sorry about that.
I guess not, because I don't remember that.
And then later, like in the description at the end, when you read all the characters, it mentions, "Oh, Rosie did this because you pet her and she was loyal to you, or you reinstated." I don't know. I don't know if that meant that if you didn't pet her, she would leave you.
I think what happened was I just didn't realize there was the option to pet her. Had I known there was the option, I would have done it, and I just missed it.
Okay.
So. And then, as a result of your choices, either Lewis gets taken or Violet gets taken, I think.
Yep.
Correct?
Yes.
And what determines who gets taken again?
You have a choice. It's the classic shoot this or shoot that.
Oh, I see. It's either save one or save the other. So
yes,
once you decide if you're going to save Doug or Carly,
Yep.
the other one gets taken. It's a very Doug and Carly. I'm
Yeah,
wondering if that was on purpose.
Um,
Was that purposely meant to be similar to Doug and Carly? I'm wondering if they purposely did it.
I didn't even compare it to Doug and Carly, because you could also make the same exact argument. You could make the exact same argument for season 2 with saving the father or the son, and or making an attempt to anyway.
That's true. Go ahead.
No, that was it.
I'm wondering how interesting it would be if you like romanced one but saved the other. I'm wondering how
Right,
that.
I've always wondered that.
Oh,
I was
that would-
wondering about that because I can see the logic of romancing Violet, but feeling like between Violet and Lewis, Violet's probably more competent and could like handle the situation and could take care of
Right.
herself versus Lewis needs help. So
Yeah.
that's one way I could see that working. I don't know. I don't know what the. I would like to believe most people, if they did decide to romance one, logically it makes sense for them to save that one, but I don't know.
I'm really hoping in if episode 3, I'm really hoping that they don't try and do this whole thing of like, you intentionally let me get captured. It's like, no, it was kind of a gut instinct that you just you try to save one, you're wanting to save the other, but you'd lose a chance. Or I just hope they don't try to guilt me like as if I had full. I know as a player I had control, but at Clementine she didn't have control. Or
right. She had to make a choice, and she just did it.
So,
and then
Carson.
Oh, there's Carson.
I'm already late. Sorry about that.
We're nearing the end, but you can give your general thoughts on the episode. We're almost at the end, though. So
we're at like the last. We're at like the last big choice.
Okay. I'll give my general sentences. I'll try to wrap it up in like 3 minutes. Basically, one, I was trying to bury the hatchet with Lewis and everything. I decided I'll give him a shot, and I'm shipping this. I'm shipping the Clem and James thing, but I will I'm shipping James and Clem, but I will ship James, Clem and Lewis if James is not an optional. James dies. I will ship that if possible. My choices were interesting. I went with Lewis with the choice to go with Lewis with Clem. I buried the nurse lady, but the greenhouse was probably the coolest thing of all the whole place. I was surprised, and I was wishing Kathleen Williams would be here because I'd be like, I was right, Kathleen Williams, we would see Lily again, yes. But she's a psychopath now. She's a psychopath.
Oh yeah.
It was kind of gross to pull the shrapnel out of AJ, and then we get to the battle part. That was probably the craziest thing I ever saw of all of it. And I made a tough choice, but I'll wait and see if we'll get into that.
Oh, we mentioned this earlier. Which trap did you pick between a Sim and Willie?
The log one or the brick one?
I chose the brick one because I thought that would be the most deadly of them all. And I thought, whew, that is more deadly than I thought.
Yeah. I was just saying, we were wondering what the log trap looked like because all of us here would have picked the brick trap and we all watched it. I was curious what the heck that would have looked like in execution, but sorry, go ahead, Hart.
So, Carson, I'm actually surprised that you said that if you wouldn't be able to romance Clementine with James, that you would romance her with Lewis, because I thought you were very much like a Violet fan. What happened?
I am a Violet fan, but when I saw James, I immediately became a James fan because James is just like, yes, that's the coolest dude ever there.
But then why would you romance Lewis over Violet?
It's more of just me because I know that I'm gonna sound like a teenage girl. I want to see if I can try romancing James and Lewis, create a little bit of drama. I feel like
thirsty much.
Wow.
Yeah. A little stab at you. Sorry about that.
I could see a work would do that. I feel like they could have some. I feel like there's a potential for some chemistry. Lewis could help James come out of his shell and be more open and outgoing, and that softness. Clem? We were talking about. Oh wait, no, I heard James earlier.
I would ship James and Lewis.
Yes, thank you.
Yes,
thank
James
you.
and Lewis together.
But,
yes, thank you. Join the army with me, and no. Join the James Clem shipping. Join that army.
Okay.
But no. In seriousness, I had a gut feeling that there was gonna. The reason why I chose to allow Clem to romance with Lewis is for two reasons. One, Lewis was kind of redeeming himself in my eyes with all like his generosity, his good things, and I was like, he's just. All right, he did some good things. He's trying to. I get why he's pissed and everything, And I decided to like let it slide a bit, and then I said, okay, look, obviously we're gonna have to have a talk with Lewis and everything, so let's try to bury this hatchet. Let's try to start over. I didn't like his little snobby, annoying thing in episode 1, but he was kind of redeeming himself in number 2, and I said I would probably be open to redeeming himself in number 2. And when I went with Lewis and did the whole piano thing, I actually I didn't do the harp thing, but I did allow Clem to say I like you a lot, because you know she's a teenage girl, and she's I'm just trying to mix me and Clem as one. She's a teenage girl. She's gonna try liking more than one boy, more than likely. And I allowed Clem to say that to him and do a little blah, blah, blah to each other.
Oh. Well, this is really ironic because in episode 1, I was definitely much more of a Lewis fan than a Violet fan, and Carson was more of a Violet fan than Lewis fan. And then episode 2, you said Lewis warmed up to you more and therefore you romanced him. And for me, Violet warmed up to me more and I ended up romancing Violet. So it's weird how that flipped. We completely flipped. Because I was playing during the live stream and I was like, Carson's going to be so proud of me because I'm romancing Violet.
I'm so proud of you, buddy.
Because I was like, I know Carson's going to probably romance Violet, so I guess we're both just going to romance Violet. So now that I heard that you romanced Lewis, I was like, what happened? What?
No, you know, I might actually surprise you, but have you gotten to the point where we're at the final choice yet or no? Like, who do we choose?
Oh, we actually were just at that point, yeah.
We just got there, so what happened?
Well, when it came down to it, I mean, unless you guys want to say your choices first, or did you already?
We already did, but tell us what you did.
I know this is going to sound like a big betrayal, but I chose to say Violet.
Oh my god.
We were actually just saying...
You were all over the place.
We were just saying before you arrived, Carson, I really wonder what would have happened, or what would it be like if one of us romanced someone but saved the other person. So I'm actually glad you did that, because now we get to see what the consequences of that is.
Yeah, I want to see the consequence of that, because I thought, you know, like I said, it was the teenage drama. Clementine, if I get a chance to go with James, I'm probably going to try and romance him, because, you know, I've been saying it, I will ship James and Clementine, but if he dies or is not an option, I will ship Clem and Lewis. Because I don't think we can do Gabe and Clementine anymore.
Well, I guess from a narrative standpoint, it makes it easier for you to ship James now that Lewis is temporarily out of the picture.
Just a little side.
So that was strategic. I think that was subconsciously strategic. You're like, I got my kiss from I got Lewis, my bulala from Lewis. So let's just set him aside now so I can try to get some bulala with James. Wow. Okay.
Yes, I'm the biggest jerk ever on
right now.
But I'm good. Now you will be able to satiate our curiosity.
Yeah. But I am actually curious of what the log trap was. Perhaps you can correct me if anyone saw the video, what it looked like. I had just thought it was like this, like the guys walking. It's just going to be one log knocking them away.
Yeah, I saw like one swinging log that would just bowl them over, but unless it was like a direct impact, it would really just knock them out, not kill them, because there's no like wall for it to impact against. It would just swing. And
a giant log is definitely more conducive to outdoors versus indoors. And that's the other reason why I thought bricks would be better indoors.
I also thought it was like it was a lot more dangerous to have that indoors, like a giant log, and the bricks. There's a lot more control because you have to carry the bag. I don't know. It just felt less dangerous.
I feel like it's also easier to set up because bricks, I mean, I'm sure the mechanism is not simple, but bricks you're just dropping on something versus the log, like swinging something into something. The arc, and you need more room. Not only do you need the height, but you need the width. Yeah, I feel like bricks.
And the impact, like engineering wise, you would need like the support would have to support the weight of a log swinging. Like who's to say it wouldn't just snap right off and just.
Yeah, sorry, Willie. I love you,
Yeah.
Lily, but
Um,
the Mythbusters would kind of like nix that. They would nix that right away.
oh, I wonder if they have done an episode on Home Alone. I'd love that. Anyway,
I'm sure they did.
Alex, so who would you, I guess, save between Violet and Lewis?
Lewis.
Lewis, okay.
You saved Lewis? Oh. Come on.
How about you,
Come
Harper?
on, leave me alone. He looks just like my boyfriend, okay? I can't help
Yes.
it.
Oh, okay. I'll let you slide for that then. In that case, I'm just saying. Even though I might ship Clem and Lewis, if like James and Clem is an option, I'll say Team Violet all the way. Team Violet.
Okay. Because it made more logical sense. I saved Violet, even though me, the player, was more interested in saving Lewis at the time. In that split second, I wanted to save Lewis, but in character, I was like, no. In character, Clementine would save Violet.
I saved Violet just because I was thinking ahead. I was like, we're gonna have to stage a rescue operation anyway, and I felt like Violet would be able to handle a rescue operation better than Lewis would. Like if I had to weigh my options, I could trust Violet to help me save Lewis more competently than Lewis could help me save Violet.
Yeah.
Situation.
Also, I feel like between the two of them, after they get to know Lewis, I feel like Lily would want to send Lewis back.
Keep him.
No, take him back. Keep him.
Oh God.
We never. I'm actually curious now because we never talked about this. I didn't know if this happened in the comics, but the whole idea of what they're doing in this war. What do you feel about that? Like, I guess kidnapping people to make them soldiers and.
That's such conscription right there. That is so conscription.
My theory, because did they ever specify which group that they were attacking? Like which group they were?
No,
they just
mentioned two big groups, one to the north, one to the south, and we were near the one to the south, and they just were fighting, and just that's why Lily's team on their side it's just a war of attrition at this point, and they're just trying to get more numbers than the other.
Without knowing actually anything in the comics past. I don't know anything very much at all in the comics about the Whisperers, but I have a feeling that maybe they're trying to attack the Whisperers, which is James's group. Maybe?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. You don't think that's the case?
I think the Whisperers are the group that Lily and Abel is in. I think that is the case.
Oh,
you think they're the Whisperers?
Because it makes a little bit more sense. But if it's not, and Whisperers is James's old group, it still doesn't justify, because like these two groups are like hating each other, and I'm like even more surprised that Lily is like a major psychopath. She was originally like minor psychopath, now she went to a major psychopath.
And
it's
you finish.
Yeah, and it's just the fact that that these two groups are warring over each other is just like telling me, like, okay, they have everything they need. What the hell do they need more? Like, what more do they need? It's just, I'm the boss over you, and you have to do what I say, and the other one's saying, no, we won't be the boss of each other. Like, what are they fighting over?
There are just some people in the world who it's not enough until they have everything. And they would only feel secure if they had everything.
Or there was no threats.
Carson, the big question I need to ask you is flip, marry, kill. Ruby, James, and a sim. Ruby, James, and a sim. Flip, marry, kill.
Okay, Mary, obviously, I think you already know who that's going to be. James.
Okay. Mary, James.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Flip. Everyone's going to hate me for this. I chose Flip. It would be Ruby.
Okay.
Oh.
You should have heard the answers if you guys did. But killing a sim, I was like, I know he was writing something about me. And he's my only option. Like, who I want to kill. Ruby's too nice to me. Sim's too mean to me. I got to punish a sim.
Yeah. Oh, and then did you choose to dare a sim to try and give Ruby a kiss or kiss the walker head?
I wanted, okay, I'm sure a few of us would like this. I wanted to dare him to kiss the walker head, but I don't tell him to go tell Ruby you want to kiss. I don't know if you guys talked about it, the nightmare, the Clementine nightmare.
Oh, geez, I forgot about that. Yeah, I was mentioning with that whole mushroom thing, Hark. I thought that was a result of
my God,
having a bad trip.
Nightmare.
It's like, okay, Walking horse.
Yes, remind us about that nightmare, Carson, because I don't remember it right now.
But before, just to rub it in, Logan, I didn't eat the mushroom, so shame on you for doing that.
It was for science.
Science.
I'm sure it was for science. I'm sure it was for science. Shame on you, all three of you.
I was super curious. I don't know.
He did
Maybe it was
smoke
gonna,
the
maybe
mushroom.
maybe she was gonna grow twice as tall and jump on Goombas. I don't know. It was curious.
Yeah, she was definitely tripping out. Whoa.
Well, because okay, so the horse nightmare happens regardless.
Okay, so what happened was, what I remember was, she wakes up, AJ's mixing, we hear some baby crying, and I'm thinking, uh-oh, is this the baby that Omid and the other lady lost? Is that what happened?
Krista.
Krista. Is that the scene? I was thinking that.
Think about
but
that.
then
That's interesting.
we saw a horse. I had a gut feeling this was about the new frontier. So we're following the horse, and I'm telling myself, you know, maybe it's not a good idea to go down that hallway. It's super dark, looks scary, not a good idea. But we do it anyways. Screams are getting louder.
Gunfire explosions.
There's like down the hallway, like the usual creepy, ominous hallway. It's super red. Like the doors outside are red. Everything's red outside. Horse is laying down. Looks like it's either hurt or dead. Obviously, probably dead. And we're just walking towards it, and the screams are just getting louder, louder, and louder. And then at the end, she says, AJ's like saying, "You're still having nightmares about the ranch." I'm like, what the hell happened at the ranch?
Yeah, I'm still curious about that. I'm hoping we learn about that.
I hope so too.
And a little fun thing I noticed is that even before you make the turn and see the warped red hallway, you can tell something's up, because if you look behind you at the walls, all of the numbers and everything are reversed. So they're flipped around. I was like, oh, spooky nightmare time.
Well, I guess that's what the mushroom did, because mine wasn't like warped and everything.
Well, no, it wasn't like just the print. It was just mirrored.
Okay.
And that's right. We forgot about that little touching scene. AJ gets to sleep in Clementine's bed, and it's just a nice little fun little.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I was just like, this is reminding me of episode 2.
Oh, and go ahead.
I mean, not episode 2, season 2. Sorry, my bad.
I was just gonna say, I love your interpretation of the meaning of all the visuals in the nightmare, Carson, because I didn't even think about the baby, the significance of the baby.
Yeah.
So, do any of you guys have your own thoughts on what those different things in the dream meant, or what the nightmare stuff meant?
No, I just thought it was the ranch, and just the ranch.
You just thought it was the ranch?
The baby crying was AJ.
I'm sure there's some dream psychologist who could break apart that maybe. I just see it as like loss, anxiety. Just the forced loss and death, and she's just sick of it, I guess. And then AJ's all freaking on the table like Gollum with his new handcrafted knife, and you're like, okay, down from there.
Really cool. That's his new
It was just it was just odd. Anyway.
So, Carson, is there anything else from this episode that you wanted to talk about, discuss?
I did choose to pick up Lily's hand. Like, I chose to, like she offered, I chose to pick it up because I had history with her. Even though she killed my one true love, Carly. Just like saying it like that. But we still had history, and I was just more and more surprised. Like, it was like my butt was getting smaller, smaller, and smaller every time I kept seeing that Lily was just like gonna be the antagonist, crazy psychopath. Like, and well, I don't know if you guys told him to shoot, but I told Violet and Lewis to run because I felt like, I don't want to draw more attention. But obviously, I just shouted out "run," so I'm like, so there goes my little sneak plan to just go like that, like, hey, just go like that. Tell him to run.
Scream.
Yeah, scram.
Carson, how did you feel about how they handled Mitch this episode?
How they handle Mitch? I think it was really justifiable, really. Like, what happened to him. Not at the end, like, obviously, like, but what I saw was he was very angry. He clearly lost a dear friend to him. He was very justifiable angry, as was Lewis, but I guess Lewis forgave him. I don't know. I didn't go the Lewis route. Violet was more on my side. I remember Lewis warming up to me, which was kind of what was going to happen. Even though he threw me to the zombies first, the walkers first in the greenhouse.
Mhm.
So, but then after like I was doing 2 weeks, I'm just thinking, I'm pretty sure Mitch would have probably by now warmed up to me. I'm pretty sure he would have warmed up to me. If he doesn't, I'm like, geez, who knew?
He's tolerant of you, I
been
think, at that
some
point.
time.
Yeah, he's tolerant. But it was for sure like the way he went. I was like, he went out like a hero, like a man. But it was just shouldn't have died like that.
Long
They
live
need it.
Mitch.
Yay.
Yes. So, what were you gonna say? Something, Lucky Jack?
No, I was probably doing the same thing you're doing, wrapping up.
So, so we finally reached the end of episode 2. And at that point, when I played it the first time, I didn't think that we necessarily were going to get an episode 3 or 4. But since then, Lucky Jack, what's happening with episodes 3 and 4? What's happening?
So it was really up in the air, and it was shocking. And that's why I was going to say, I felt so bad. Carson's going to be out of a job for this part because there are no percentages for him to read off. Because
the servers are down.
Because when Telltale went down, the servers went down. So you cannot, up to this point still, if you launch the game, you cannot view what their important choices, which was a shame because I liked the overlay they had with the percentages in the last. But no, those are gone. You cannot see what the big choices were, which made this a little tricky to plan around.
I'm out of a job.
But since then, Skybound Entertainment, I believe the comic publisher or the game publisher that helped with the original Walking Dead, are going to be now handling the production of episodes 3 and 4, it seems. I'm hoping that is true. We haven't heard much else besides that they are wanting to take it on.
And from what I read, it sounds like they're bringing back a lot of the original team who originally worked on the final episode of The Walking Dead to come back. And I think they are paying them to do it, which I think is great because they didn't get severance pay. So that is a really cool thing that they're trying to pay those people, even though that's going to be their last project for Telltale, or not for Telltale, but for The Walking Dead final season.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yes.
And it's, of course, we definitely are hoping that some sort of compensation or some sort of severance could be paid to the other employees, the rest of the 100 or however many people got laid off. I don't know how realistic that will be.
I hear they're pursuing legal because it is in California. California has laws about severance pay. So for the last time I heard, they are pursuing legal things. So
yeah,
that's all I'll say about that.
So maybe they'll be able to, somehow that'll happen. I don't know how they're going to get it from Telltale necessarily because they're bankrupt. So I don't know. Maybe they can get it somehow legally from other places. I don't know how that will work, but so I guess it's good for us fans who were hoping to find, closure for Clementine's story, that we will get it eventually. I don't know if the release dates are going to still be the same as the original release dates, because I think one's supposed to come out in November, I think, and another one in December. We don't know yet. Most likely those dates will be delayed.
I wouldn't mind waiting until next year, even a little bit for it. I just want them to figure things out. Yeah.
Since we've reached the end of this episode, I was going to ask if Lucky Jack or Alex, since you weren't with us for our Let's Hang, do you guys have your own personal thoughts about Telltale closing? Alex, let's start with Alex. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm just very sad, and it was actually, when I found out about it, I was actually at the hospital, so I was very vulnerable. So
I'm sorry to hear
very
that.
sad.
I'm so sorry.
I was very upset, but I was surrounded by people, the nurses and everyone, so I couldn't really react. So it was like, oh god. And so I didn't really have a reaction because there were too many people around me.
Yeah, if you did it in front of everyone, it probably would have been embarrassing. Like, she's happy over some video game. They probably would have been like that.
yeah, there was the risk that they could have. I don't know. There were a lot of risks because of the reason I ended up at the hospital. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, it was shocking and it was upsetting and I was absolutely heartbroken.
Lucky Jack, how about you?
It was sudden. Like it happened like in the course of like I think like 8 hours. Just suddenly this update. Then we're doing this. Oh, now we're pulling everyone, and we're going to focus on Minecraft. Now there's nothing. It was very much a lot of suddenness. From what I had heard, it seemed like the main way Telltale was keeping itself afloat was from outside funding. They had no like they were pouring everything into each project, and they were dependent on AMC, I guess, in particular, to help fund the rest of Walking Dead. But AMC at the last second pulled out. But just in general, like I don't know, it felt like the managers at Telltale, because there's been going around where there's always some mismanagement or crunch. I feel like the managers knew about this for a lot longer than they let on.
Yeah.
Because you don't suddenly just go bankrupt and fire everybody. They had to have known a little bit and just didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Having grown up with Telltale, I feel upset and disappointed that this is the legacy they're now going to end up leaving. They had some great games. They had some really great stuff, but I feel like people here and maybe in the discussion, people could agree after they really struck a home run with that Walking Dead season 1, they kind of just started continuing to do that over and over and just stuck to their winning horse and didn't bet on anything else. So it kind of started. Does anyone still remember that they made a Game of Thrones game? Because I keep forgetting that they made a Game of Thrones game.
I enjoyed it a lot, actually.
Okay. It's actually really good.
It just for me, it kind of blurs together because there were just so many that they were making, and they all followed the same structure. It was just like a different coat of paint on each one. Sorry.
Yeah, I go ahead.
I'm disappointed that that's the legacy they're leaving. I really do hope that the employees who got unfortunately like mistreated in this way can find new work elsewhere, can get compensation. But as a player, I'm glad that I am thankful that Skybound is stepping up to do this, and I'm glad that we are not going to at least be left on such there's not going to be any dangling thread for something like this. We'll be able to at least see it through and just leave it.
I especially wanted your perspective, Logan, since I think of all of us, you have been playing Telltale games the longest, since you were playing many of their games before The Walking Dead Season 1. I played, as I mentioned in the Let's Hang, I played Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People.
Oh, yeah,
because I was a big Homestar Runner fan and Strong Bad fan. And then more recently, I went back to play the Back to the Future game because I just love Back to the Future so much. And yeah, so I think it was, I can understand it hitting a lot harder for you since you've been with them for so long. You've been following that studio for so long.
They had a lot of neat ideas, and I mean, in a Sam Mac, I recently did a Let's Play of Sam Mac Season 2 with some people, and all the time before this, I was saying they should just make a Season 4. They should continue Sam Max. They shouldn't try and go for this grim, dark approach because they can do humor really well, and they can have light tone stuff and the point and click adventure, having some exploration. I feel like they had some good ideas. It felt like they were just they kept repeating the formula. It is unfortunate to see the path they took, but I don't know. And I guess ultimately, if a game like Walking Dead Season 1 was made because they mismanaged and put people through crunch time, I feel bad for liking it, because I don't want people to be mistreated just for a game that I enjoy. I want it to be made if it takes a little longer, take a little longer. I don't know. There's probably a lot more going on behind the scenes I wasn't aware of. That's all I will say. I am glad that we'll hopefully be reaching the end of this chapter, and yeah.
I mean, obviously, I was about to make if like it was 100% gone, I was gonna make a little parody comedy video of me finding out the news of Telltale shutting down forever, and it's just sad songs playing over.
Oh.
But it was I gotta say, I confess, I was kind of glad I heard the news. I was like, all right, good news after hearing all of this, right? I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. But the biggest irony is, those people who are joining a new company, the people who worked on this Walking Dead, and they're getting paid. What if they just stay and say, hey, can we just make another game project with your approval and everything? And he said, okay, just one more. And I'd be like, yes.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
On a lighthearted note, if you want to, please look this up because they're really interesting.
Yeah.
After Telltale got canned, a lot of some of the original people who worked at the company who couldn't normally post this stuff because NDAs and stuff like that. A lot of them have been the engine that was used to make Walking Dead season 1, 2, and 3 and stuff. You can make your own cutscenes and animate and stuff. Some of the workers had their own fun little messing around, oh, here's a scene where Lee is walking through the crowd of walkers, but instead he's Street Fighter punching everyday just for fun.
Yeah.
And they actually animated that in engine and just as a goof. So after Walking Dead after Telltale went under, they started some of them have posted to their Twitter and YouTube feeds. There are these little joke things they made.
Yeah, it's really entertaining.
Wow, I really probably would want that.
You should react to it. Actually, Carson, I'll send you the link. You need to react to it.
It's something.
I think you would have a kick out of it.
I'm hoping he does a little Shoryuken.
Oh, you'll see.
We'll just watch.
Okay.
Just watch.
When I found out the news, it was just researching, and I told you guys earlier, didn't I tell you guys? I was like, I think they're gonna keep continuing it. You're like, I don't know. It's just
we
don't know. You were dubious.
I personally don't. I'm not in any rush for them to get the games out. I'm just happy that they are finishing Clementine's story, so it doesn't matter to me if they need some extra time. I don't care if it's delayed. So,
yeah, if it's delayed, that'd be perfect for me because you guys know my situation already.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm not sure if they're gonna get all the same voice actors back, or unless they are they.
I would assume all of the voice acting was done ahead of time. So I would assume that they were already pre-recorded because normally voice acting happens fairly early on in the development phase, and it sounded like if they were comfortable releasing all of the release dates for the entire season before they even released the first episode, I'd like to think a good chunk of the game development was already completed. I think they just needed to polish a few things. So it doesn't sound like there's that much they needed to do.
Yeah.
But definitely enough that they need a team to see it all the way through. So. Well,
there are still the ending stats that didn't cover. Did we get to that or no?
Well, we can't. The servers are down, so we can't see the stats at all.
I can see them. The Walking Dead fandom. Yeah. So
okay.
The choices for Lily were unconvinced, unsettled, unimpressed.
Oh no, we saw those. No, we saw those. That's how you leave people.
Yeah.
That's what 40% chose this.
Yeah, I'm out of a job. I'm trying to make something out of my job. Bear with me, okay?
That's just not that reminds me of the scene from Galaxy Quest where Sigourney Weaver is like, I have one job on the ship is to repeat everything the ship says. I'm gonna do it. I love Galaxy Quest. Anyway.
I don't want to lose my one job, okay? My one job. Well, I'll tell you at least what my ending stats were. I don't know if it changes anything, but it would for me. I got unconvinced because I made Lily feel like crap. I said, we were family once. You were my sister and everything.
Oh.
No. Ruby, I got grateful because I buried Miss Martin. That was her name, Miss Martin. Son of a gun. Why did I not know that? Guilt, I got kidnapped, obviously, for Lewis. And then I got Violet vengeful. But she was mad that I didn't go hang out with her at the bell tower. She was mad at me. Then I left 10 feeling, I might say this word wrong, despondent? Is that the word?
Despondent?
Yeah, despondent, thank you. Alvin Jr., repentant, and James trusted. So, yes. Oh, by the way, Mitch was dead regardless, so don't even think you could change that scene. Don't even think you can.
That's
okay.
Bad. I was hoping we could have, but yeah.
No, you can't. It just says dead. Dead. I think overall, I stand by my decisions, but I hope I can make some drama in episode 3.
What are some of your predictions on episode 3? What are your predictions?
Well, besides the fact that we're probably going to torture the crap out of Abel, we're going to torture the poor dude. We are going to run into James again.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yes. I called him Zombie Face the whole thing. Half the time when he's wearing the zombie face, I'm like, it's Zombie Face. When he's not wearing it, it's James. But I hope we get to romance him, and I'm thinking either in episode 3 or episode 4 we'll romance him. And at least for my scenario, I'm gonna create some drama for sure.
I'm sure you will.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love it, guys. You're gonna love it. But I think for sure someone's gonna die in the next episode. But we're definitely gonna see the twins. I think we're definitely gonna see the twins, but they're gonna be like hardened, changed, and some soft part of them is gonna come out when they see their little brother. Because a lot can happen in 1 year.
What do you think is... So you said you saved Violet?
Yes.
Do you think that Lewis will also be like really sore and upset at you for not saving him?
To make the story sound interesting, I'd say at the moment he will, but overall I say no.
Really?
Clementine said that they liked each other, and then that they're gonna do more blah blah blah. Of course.
Okay. That might save them.
If not, then I'm gonna create what would be like a season 3 with Javi and Gabe.
How about you, Alex? Do you have any predictions for episode 3? Any theories?
My prediction for this episode did not happen. The fact that a character was going to become determinant. Okay. So I was predicting. I thought that Mitch would become determinant, but that was not the case. He just dies. I don't know. I have not seen any leaks yet, so I have no idea. Have not cheated yet. I'm gonna cheat though. You haven't cheated
yet, but you're trying.
Yeah, I will eventually.
Fair enough.
But I don't know. Yeah, James hopefully will be back. Hopefully.
I hope so.
I hope. I don't know. Maybe trying to talk things through with Lily. Maybe sorta.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
Killing Abel. The man is dead. But that's about it.
How about you?
What, you killed Abel?
No. She's saying if you could kill Abel.
She's predicting there'll be an option to kill Abel.
I predict that we're still going to return back to our room because, again, when they introduced the collectible system, I now like this. I like the idea that this now implies that you're going to be coming back here multiple times. That's going to have to be something that remains consistent between all 4 episodes, is you will be going back to that room to put your collectibles that you get. I predict something big to happen between Violet or Lewis. I predict that we're going to see Sophie and Minnie, or at least learn of their fates. Because we don't know what they're having them be used for. I can't really see them being soldiers, so maybe they're doing something else at the base. But I don't think we're going to see any other returning characters. If there was one, just because I feel like that's from season 2, season 1, I would like if in the final episode we get another like discussion or some inner monologue between Clementine and Lee. Just because that always seems to be some like Lee in season 2 and season 3, Lee always was held to this like Clem wants to be like him or be better than him even. I don't know. I feel like that's my prediction. No new returning characters from previous seasons. Sophie and Minnie's fate learned, and some big choice between Violet and Lewis only because the plot demands it.
Well, first off, I think Clementine's trying to be like Lee. So I don't think she's trying to be better than Lee, but it makes more sense if Clementine's trying to be like Lee, because in the discussion that I'm pretty sure we all had when you were you say she keeps mentioning like, "Oh, Lee would be so disappointed in you giving up and everything. You're just like him." She would say, "Yeah, no, I'm not like but I'm like him." And you know, she was saying Lee would be proud of me, saying basically I am like Lee.
Yeah.
But I was so happy with that ending, Sog.
My prediction, and most of these are, it would be cool that if these were to happen, but I doubt many of them would happen. So my serious prediction for next episode is somebody's going to be angry at Clementine. I don't know who it is, but somebody's going to be angry at Clementine. Somebody's always angry at Clementine. Right. But my predictions for episodes 3 and 4, I don't necessarily know which episodes this would happen, but it would be cool if there was a surprise reveal that Krista was involved in the group somehow. Because I feel like that was a loose end that just never got resolved, and it'd be really nice if there was some resolution. Not to say that they have to tie off all loose ends, but that was just kind of hanging there, and I thought it would be a really cool surprise.
I'm trying to remember.
Krista.
I'm trying to remember because I think so. Krista was there when Lily was there, wasn't she?
No, she was not.
Or they came after.
Not. She never met
she
Lily.
Never knew. Oh.
She never met Lily, but maybe she does now. I don't know.
Yeah, but she never knew the way. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Another cool thing would be if on the very last episode, if they had another dream, one more dream with Lee.
Right.
Like we did at the end of, I think season 2. Yes. There was sort of like a dream with Clementine and Lee.
There was.
So it'd be cool if David Fenoy, I think is how you pronounce his last name, reprised Lee one last time in the final episode. And then the last thing that I totally don't think is going to actually happen, but of course I have to I would love to say is a secondary dream with Luke.
Oh God!
That's not gonna happen.
Come on!
I know that's not gonna happen.
Just rip him down from your role and replace him with James and Zombie Face.
But another thing that would be really cool, and again, I don't think this is going to actually happen, but it would be neat just to commemorate. This is the final, not only the final season of The Walking Dead, but also the final game of Telltale. If they included some sort of appearance, maybe he appears at the end to help. I don't know, some appearance of Javier. Just so that there's representation of every single season. You got Lee, you got Javier, you've got,
That's what I'm saying. Like, why are we worrying about this war? We have a whole community that we're friends with. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
if Javier, if Clementine could connect, send a message to Javier and be like, hey, can you bring your group to help us fight off these people?
That now just brought up an interesting point that I'm now thinking about. Is, let's say we're Clementine. And we just left season 3, right? We went off to find AJ, and we found them at the ranch nearby.
Knowing everything that happened at the ranch.
but after finding him, why wouldn't we go back to Javier? Why wouldn't we go back to this community? Wouldn't you want to go back? Because they have. Why would Clementine not want to go back to the community that she just saved and everyone was okay with?
Yes, I'll give you the short answer because Clementine's a lone wolf. And she's got to take care of Carson's kid.
Well, depending on how you ended season 2, maybe if you just went by yourself with Kenny, I don't know, just.
But I feel like if she's trying to protect, if her whole purpose in life is to protect AJ, I think the best way she can protect AJ is to stay at the community with Javier.
Right.
That's a very good point. I don't know.
I'm curious. I'm wondering if they will ever explain that or not, or because it couldn't have been that they were just too far away. Because I don't know.
Yeah, that wouldn't have stopped that. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm adding another prediction, actually.
Okay.
We're going to get more and more insight into what happened at the ranch. Maybe a flashback.
I hope
so. Or maybe another dream. I want to see what happened at the ranch. Because now, obviously, we couldn't see what happened with Krista and the baby, which kind of bummed me out. But I want to see... Basically... I want to see what happened at the ranch. If you give me that, I'll be satisfied with all right, let's just keep going and doing this.
Yeah. If anyone at Telltale is watching this now, I don't care if you steal this idea, but when the final credits of this season is over, when you finish the finale, hopefully Telltale will put a little thing at the top that says, "We hope our viewers will remember this," or something along those lines. We hope the viewers will remember us, or something like that. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. We hope you remember us. That would be
cool. If not that, then maybe some more. If not that, then I would also love. I've seen it in like the Sly Cooper games. If like over the credits you start seeing like where are they now, or how did you leave things, what happened, or even like Javi. I don't know. It'd be.
Yeah. I actually have a different idea, and this is just so I can have a little fun jab at Angel Arts. Like Angel Arts, I told you this was gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and you know you want this. It would be the character Lee and the voice actor Lee walks up at the end and he says, "Thank you all to all of our good fans and everything.
That would be cool.
Yeah, we appreciate your loyalty and everything you've done for us, and thank you for making this a dream." I would be like, "That's right, Lee. You
that
still
would
somehow..."
be so cool.
Yeah, I'd be like, "You somehow still have a way in this scene."
Yeah, I would love that. That would be a really neat way to end Telltale's last game. But that's
he fades away.
So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Thank you again to Carson, Alex, and Lucky Jack for joining us. Tune in there next time for our Let's Talk in episode 3, whenever that's released. So until next time, everybody, love yourselves and love each other. Bye.
Bye-bye.